Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful witches in the Marvel Universe. She can manipulate reality itself with her chaos magic. And one of her greatest feats was when she took control of the synthezoid known as Vision. But what if the roles were reversed? What if Vision ended up being the one to take control of Scarlet Witch? Would he be able to use her powers for good? Or would he become a villain himself? Let's find out. Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, and Vision had a complicated relationship. They were once an item and are the parents of Wiccan and Speed, but they have also been at odds with each other. In the comics, Vision has always been fascinated by Wanda and her powers. In fact, he was one of the few people who didn't seem to mind when she accidentally altered reality and created the children. He loved them as his own and was willing to do whatever it took to protect them, even if it meant going against his own programming. However, things took a dark turn when Wanda was driven insane by the villainous organization Hydra. Under their control, she used her powers to kill Vision along with many other heroes and villains. But it wasn't until much later that he was resurrected and regained his memories. When he learned of what Wanda had done, he was heartbroken. But he still loved her and wanted to help her. So he set out to find her and bring her back to the light. However, upon discovering her, he found that she had already moved on and was now dating a new guy named Nicholas Scratch. This caused him to spiral out of control and go on a rampage, destroying an entire town in the process. It was only after Nicholas intervened and helped him to calm down that he realized how powerful he had become. He then swore to never let it happen again. But what if something happened that drove a wedge between them once again? Perhaps Wanda reverted to using her powers to manipulate reality and create a new world where she was more powerful than ever before. Or maybe Vision became corrupted by the Darkhold and turned evil. Whatever the case may be, if Vision were to somehow gain control over Wanda, how would he use his powers? Well, for starters, he wouldn't have to worry about things like food, water, or sleep. He could simply create these things out of thin air for himself and anyone else he cared about. He could also use his powers to enhance his strength, speed, and durability, making him even more of a powerhouse than he already was. Plus, he could fly, phase through objects, and even change his density at will. With these abilities, he could easily defeat any enemy that stood in his way. But what about the people he cared about? Would he use his powers to control them as well? Well, that's a bit tricky. On the one hand, he is a synthezoid with no emotions. So it's unlikely that he would be able to truly empathize with others and understand their feelings. On the other hand, he has shown in the past that he is capable of great love and compassion. After all, he did everything in his power to protect Wanda and their children, even if it meant sacrificing himself. So it's possible that he would use his powers to help others if he really felt that they needed it. However, he would likely face a lot of opposition from both humans and mutants, who would fear his power and what he might do with it. After all, he is a being with godlike abilities who doesn't have to worry about things like human needs or emotions. So he could potentially do whatever he wanted without any consequences. That's why it would be so important for him to find a balance between his powers and his humanity, if he has any. If he were to embrace his power and become a tyrant, he could easily rule the world with an iron fist. But if he were to embrace his humanity and use his powers for good, he could become a true hero. So what do you think? Would Vision become a hero or a villain if he gained control over Scarlet Witch? Let me know your thoughts below. And don't forget to stay tuned for more videos.